welcome back, everyone. I'm Dex. These are my two parents, and I have a great podcast for you guys today. We're going to be discussing how sports were back then and how they pretty much have changed since the 90's and everything like that. And so we're just going to discuss on have two well all around athletes that played back in that time and discuss their opinions and what they have seen that's changed just over the course of sports and what they would like to see that might have changed differently. What improvements that have been made. Some positive stuff from their time, and then pretty much see some of the things that they wish could change and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and get into it. So let's introduce ourselves. Mother, go ahead and start us off.
Well, good evening, everyone. I am Evelyn Jones.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Edwin Dion Jones.
All right. It's so nice to meet you all. So go ahead and tell us about yourself. Want to get into your background real quick.
All right. So um I I'm 51 years old. I am a 504 504 teacher support in Birmingham City Schools. I've been in the system for almost 25 years, well, actually 25 years. And my background, I started off as a physical education teacher, went into counseling, did that for maybe 10 years, and then kind of drifted off in the SEL department, which stands for social emotional learning. So that's basically my background for right now. I know we're talking about sports. I actually played basketball, volleyball, and tennis in high school, but developed a love for tennis and received scholarship to play tennis and basketball, but I chose to play tennis on a collegiate level and was offered a scholarship to play basketball and tennis, but chose to play tennis in my college career.
All right, that's good. That's interesting. You have a tennis start, so not your typical, volleyball, basketball, D1 athlete. We have a tennis star, so this something different. So, all right, go ahead, Dad.
Yeah, my name is, once again, Dr. Edwin Dion Jones. I'm a sergeant for the Birmingham Police Department. I've been policing now for approximately 24 years. I'm a member of Omega Psi Phi, one of the best fraternities in the country, incorporated.
Oh,
So I'm married, oh yeah, married for approximately 25 years. In April, will be our 26th year of marriage. Two wonderful boys. Of course, Jordan is the oldest. Your youngest son is Justin, who's is an Auburn attendee and also an Auburn football player. Um, my background growing up, I was all around an athlete. Um, I attended Winona High School class of 1988. I was an All American pitcher. I played for PAT growing up. I was an All Star player as a baseball player. I was top of the line football player. Played all positions, all the way from nose guard to middle linebacker, offensive guard, second string quarterback. I mean, running back. I played it all, um, and I was good in all positions. Um, I'm very excited here to talk about old times because there are a lot of difference that we see now from then to now, and I think that this is a very good discussion. I think that it really and truly need to be talked about because there's so many lies that's out there now that we're dealing with in this, and they need to be exposed. So, being invited here today to discuss something that's so important to me as being an athlete and being so dear to me. I enjoy and truly enjoy speaking the truth about reality when it comes to football or any other sports. And what I mean by reality is sticking with not a false center, but reality of realistic of life as a player. So that's my background. Thank you so much. Carry on, son.
All right. So for you guys, yes, both my parents, like I said, like they both said, athletes play all around sports and everything. My mom forgot to mention my granddad was a tennis star. He was a tennis pro. So that's where the tennis from the tennis background comes from. So but I want to go ahead and get into it now. So I want to ask you guys, starting off, Mom. I'm gonna start with you first. Just playing back in your time, just how things were. How would you say how you know some takeaways that you have taken from your time of playing sports?
I can say this. Back in my time, I just felt like coaches were very genuine. They were very honest when it came to true talent. Um, they came and they saw you play. They saw what you had to offer. I know film doesn't lie. However, there was a connection with the player and with that coach that was recruiting them. And it was just a great connection. I can say that. It was a good connection, and you got an opportunity to, display your talents with no hesitation. And for me, I didn't play, at a SEC school or your ACC schools, but got an opportunity to get a full, ride and, provide education. And that's the first important thing. You're a student before you're an athlete. So the coaches back then, they really stressed education back then. Hey, get your degree, get your degree, because anything can happen, out there with you playing sports. And, if you got that degree behind you, you got something to fall on.
Well, not just that too. I'm pretty sure as well they was honed in on getting your education because of, I guess, like the time period that it was back then for black athletes. You know how education was. I mean, it's still important, but how it was one of those things where it was taught that that was something that they can't take away from you. If you have that that degree behind you. So yeah, that was actually interesting. Good points. What about you, Dad?
Yeah, times are totally different now. Back then in the 80s, when I played, and even in the late 70s, there's one thing about it. You had a father, first of all, at home, and you had a father at practice. Uh, and you also had fathers as you walked to practice and as you walked home from practice. It was never a dull moment that a father somewhere will be present. Coaches didn't mind being dad when you was away from home. Matter of fact, they always stress that, hey, I'm your dad right now. When you here at practice, I'm responsible for you. I'm your father. You need anything, you let me know. They stepped up to the plate with that. Um, and it was always about being a man. And coaches didn't have a problem by teaching young men, especially young black men, about being a man and being responsible for your actions and what you do as a young man. Sports was a beautiful thing and always been a beautiful thing. The life itself is more important. Sports is an activity that someday you have to walk away from. One thing that they stressed on back then in education is something that you will always be able to fall back on if something occurs, such as a injury, a life-threatening injury, as far as a career life-threatening injury. If you did, and God forbid that you mess up the knee totally to where you couldn't play anymore, you had your education to fall back on. It was always taught education first, sports second. One of the main reasons is that you sit here, you concentrate on the sport, something that cannot last, and it's only temporarily. Some day and age, I don't care how old you get, someday you're gonna have to walk away from football. And it's so amazing how you saw like most of your sports commentators, a lot of those guys are communication majors. And you see what they're doing now when they had to walk away from being athletes, they became commentators. And that's because of their educational background. So the educational part was very taught and stressed upon for main reasons of being young men and being a man someday in life. I said today you don't see that, and it's sad. And also you don't see fathers anymore. It's like today it's an issue for a young man to sit here and stress that what his father did. You know, in my time, man, it was common to hear a young black athlete speak about dad. You know how hard their dad worked and how hard mom did what she had to do. You heard dad. Today, you don't hear dad, and if you hear dad, it's like you're wrong for saying dad, and it's not fair to these young men. You know, to the ones that do have their fathers involved in their life, to feel alienated because they have a father, and the ones that have people backing them, pushing them, they don't have a father, and it makes the kid with a father feel like he's wrong for having a father. That right there is something that was unheard of in my time. It was nothing for me to be able to walk down the street and speak to my neighbors, my best friend's father. We need a ride somewhere. It was nothing for a father to sit here and take us where we need to go, where we're trying to go back in time. It wasn't nothing for the coach to sit here and drive you home. If mom or dad was at work, your coach, who was your father at that time, would take you home and had no problem with taking you home. In today's society, dealing with these young athletes, better call somebody. What the coach telling me. I ain't taking you home. Better call. I don't know what you better call the Uber. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to step up to the plate. Now, there's reasons behind it. That might be for another conversation. There's reason why these coaches have changed because of what? The household has changed. And with the household changing, other people, other entities are able to come in and control the house. From which in my time as an athlete, mom and dad control the house. It would be hard for an outside entity to be able to penetrate that. But with fathers not being present now, it's easy for the entity to come in and preach a bunch of lies, a bunch of hope, but not education. See, and they'll take that family, that fatherless household, will sit here and jump upon that and don't worry about the education part. And this kid grows up not realizing that there's an injury right around the corner that's going to change his whole entire life. And when that injury occurs, he has no education and he has nothing to fall upon on. Then he finds himself out on the streets. So the changes as an athlete from my time to this time has tremendously changed, and it's sadly tremendously changed. And I see it all. And every day I'm at work, I see it, and there's a bunch of lies being told to these kids. You know, in my time, like Mrs. Jones said, that coach was honest with you. You weren't good. Hell, they told you straight up, son. Hey, son, keep working there, and you can get it. Now they were positive, but you didn't touch that field if you wasn't good. But now you got a bunch of lies. You got coaches that will lie in a heartbeat to these kids. And they're giving false settlements again about life. They're not being honest with these kids. Hey, if you're not a good athlete, then you don't need to be up here wasting your time with this sport. You might be good in that sport. But they don't even take time to do that. If they see where they can make $1 off you, now in this day society, that's what they do. They'll lie to you just to get that $1 off of you. So, it's sad that it's like that now. It's not a lot of truthness anymore. It's just a bunch of lies. So that's mainly what I see. And I could go on and on with this, man, because it's such a good subject. And and growing up in my time from where being able to see truthness to where now this time I'm seeing a bunch of lies. Go ahead, Joy.
So we definitely hear athletes come out let's say like they transfer from Alabama or Auburn or anything like that, these athletes say, "Oh, these coaches did X, Y, and Z," or they said this and that, and they didn't promise, they didn't come through with their promise. So you made a good point there, where basically you were saying coaches in your time actually were honest with you. You hear a lot of the players now saying coaches lie nowadays. Just wondering, that's such a huge problem. What do you think you guys can think to like fix that? Fix that issue. Do you think it's a like the quality of coaches have gone down, or do you think it's just coaches that
Political.
people hire don't care, or what is it?
Go ahead, Miss
Yeah,
Jones.
it's just a lot of behind the door stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That goes on that sometimes we don't know exactly what's going on. We're learning this process. We definitely are learning the process, and I don't want to speak out of term or anything like that, but when you truly have a true athlete out there and they're not being utilized, it's a heartbreaker for a parent when they know that their kid is their kid is very talented, and then you have high school people coming in and playing before your child or before your son, and it's a waiting game and it's frustrating. So at the end of the day, if you're not in that loop or if you don't have the backup of support, it's just totally different now. And it may have been like that and I didn't know it back then. I know it's always been some type of behind the scene type thing. But it was, back in my time, it was just pure talent. You show and tell. That's what you did.
Mm-hmm.
Show and
Raw talent.
tell. Yeah, and that's just how it goes. So at the end of the day, it's not what you know, it's who you know and who's gonna back you up. So
So, well, let me ask you this.
I just
Well, let me ask you this: do you think coaches just don't care anymore because of, let's say, like the salaries that they get nowadays, like 4-year contract, 200 mil. They.
well, it's it's for a family. They're gonna talk and say things, and it's all about I need this player to stay here because they it's for their family. I mean, I guess it's their livelihood. It's not genuine anymore. It's all about I need you to stay here because I need to keep my job. I mean, I totally get that, but it's just a little different right now. So at the end of the
Well,
day, you know,
well,
go
let me
ahead,
say
Miss
this,
Onyx.
son. One thing is you have to understand that times have changed now. Back in the day, coaches weren't getting fired like they get fired now. So coaches didn't
Yeah.
have to worry about losing their job as quick as they do now. So with that becoming a new worry for the coaches today, the coaches not true to themselves anymore. They're not true to the game. It's about survival for them. Being able to stick around to get this amount of money that they're guaranteed because of their contract. And see, back then, we had coaches that been around for 30, 40 years, damn near. You know what I'm saying? 25 at least in college football,
It was always
either
it was
even with high
stability
school
there.
football.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
when they started firing coaches in the 90s, the mid to late 90s, when this firing coaching thing took off, it changed the dramatic football as a coach. That's when coaches stopped caring. Then they realized, hey, I got to keep my job. So they started thinking on the terms of keeping my job. I don't have time to be a father anymore. That's when you've seen all this change in the way things are going for the worse. Now, I think you had mentioned about, can we change this? Well, we can't change it now because due to the fact that money is involved in this
Money.
thing. Okay. Now, since money has gotten involved, man, it's finna go to a whole nother realm of life. Okay. And it's dangerous. It's basically what it's doing because so many people can get hurt behind that, behind those type decisions. And no, I don't think that we can. I don't think that we can fix it. We just got to learn how to deal with it now. and let's try to help guide it to where we try to eliminate as many people from injury as we can. This is a very serious question, man, because I mean a lot of people can get hurt. Um, you know, I'm just sitting here thinking about some of the stuff that I'm holding back because some stuff I can't talk about because I don't want to put other athletes I know in jeopardy, include my own. You know, so let's just say, you know, with the you know, it's no turning back, man. We just gonna have to come up with new ways on how to deal with this changing of football and in the other sports that's dealing with this money. And it is political now. It's very political now because of money. And it's all about who can get behind who can push who, how much money can I make off this individual? And with that being said, man, people are not thinking normal anymore. People are only thinking dollar signs. And when you're dealing with a group of people with a lot of money that's trying to make more money, a person with true reality of life don't stand a chance. If that makes sense, what I'm saying. Okay, that's those type individuals there on a whole nother level, man. And the only way you can sit there and even get close to think, you got to have money somewhere equal or more. And if you're not anywhere near that, you don't stand a chance to even understand it or where they're going with this thing. You might see it and you can put it together, but you won't understand it. And it's sad, man. It's sad. Now you got everybody. I mean, this thing has getting so out of control now. You have people going after middle school kids all the way up to Little League.
Yeah.
You know, promising kids stuff. You know, I mean, that's just how crazy it has gotten. But also, too, man, let's not forget the changing of athletes are not the same anymore, neither. So, yeah. So, you know, with athletes changing, that's a problem, too. That becomes desperate times for desperate measures for those individuals with the money. You see what I'm saying? So if I'm known for within the period of 1985 to 1999, you had a group of nothing but large players. Everybody 6'5", 350, 6'2", 275. You had plenty. But you look at today's society now, man, most of these kids are 150 pounds, 145 pounds, quarterback, running backs, 5'6", 5'8". You got all these small athletes, right? So that doesn't bring a crowd to make money off of. So what they have to do now with the pickings of these minimal big kids now, everybody fighting over. So now in today's athletic world, if you 5'11", 300 pounds, 6'1", 300 pounds, you get a chance to get a scholarship to a major institution. Okay,
and you don't even have to be that good.
You don't have to be that good. We're gonna rely on you. Okay, we're gonna rely. We're gonna cause the fans. One thing we gotta understand too. The fans are different. Fans now are just fans. In my time, fans analyze you. They didn't go crazy over you because the media says that you're good. Also, coaches didn't rely on a company that sit here and tell you a 4-star, 5-star, 3-star, all that mess. They did their own research. They came to the games on their off time and observed you. And they knew if they wanted to deal with you, if they didn't want to deal with you. They didn't take company words. Now, because of money involved, now those companies like that you see 247, Yellow Hammer, ESPN, all that mess, everybody done jumped in there because there's so much money involved. Well, now with money being involved during the season, now you got 4-star, 5-star, 5-star. Now the run of the game now is to see who get the most 5-stars. Now, if you get 10 5-stars, it's just like a little Monopoly game. If you get 10 5-stars, you get considered as the #1 recruit class for 2026. You see what I'm saying? And then when these kids hear those lines that they 5 stars, and then they go and deal with these coaches who are real coaches, and the coaches that, son, you ain't no 5-star. You garbage. Now everybody mad and upset. Now where the coach, they want to fire the coach.
Yeah.
As the coach refused to go along with the game of lies. In our time, they couldn't get away with that. See, coaches didn't stand for lying to kids. They treated these kids as if they were their sons or their daughters. See, now they jump right in, man, and just tell a lie because that's the new fad of what's going on. And we all get paid at the end of the day. Go with your next question, back.
So going back to the athletes thing, how he's saying that athletes have changed during your time to now. What changes do you see that has changed? Do you think I mean, some of them would say they act like celebrities, like they already celebrities. You already have high school kids that they're making coming out of high school at 6 figures, just with NIL deals now. And so a lot of people would say athletes probably don't care about the game no more. They just care about how much money they can make going into college. What school offers them much more money. So, do you think like athletes back then care more than they do now? Do you think they're more hungry than they are now, or what you think?
Well, let me say this. Athletes back then were just grateful enough to get a scholarship, period, man, for they can go to school free. Because in that time, man, mom and dad didn't have a lot. And they go to school and go to college to be wanted for a college, man, regardless of what grade of the college, was a true blessing. So kids back then, they took it to heart, they got ready, they bust their tail for the school and the team, and they bust their tail in the classroom. Now, in that time, the NFL that was recruiting back then, these athletes, they understood the concept of life back then. That these kids wasn't given silver spoons and stuff, so they didn't have no problem going down there to those small schools looking at those athletes because that's where they found the true NFL players at. Okay, now things changed over the time now, right? So now you have low income mamas getting 6 figures from individuals because their son is a certain size. A certain size, a certain skill set. So mom ain't pushing education no more. Mom pushing dollar signs too, right? Privilege. See, the privilege has changed in the kids. The privilege in our time, like I said, would just get a scholarship, period, man, to be able to go to any good school. Okay? Now the privilege now is just to be wanting to get that money up front. Right? Because what the kids saying now, anything can happen. I might not make it to the league. I want my money now. Okay. So who started it? The greedy person with the money. That's who started and changed all of this. Money has created these monsters that we're dealing with today. All right. So if I get my money now, guess what I'm gonna do when I go to college? I'm gonna disappear because my heart set and my mindset is not the same anymore for the game because I'm already living in the world that I want to live in, and then yet I'm getting it while I'm young. You see what I'm saying? So even if I don't make it, I already made it. I got money. I got X amount of money in the bank right now, 4.8 NIL deal. You know what I'm saying? Or 2.8 or 1.5. However it might be, I'm already rich. So it's dangerous for one thing because it's killing the mindset, the true mindset of the athlete. Back then, take for instance, players would come in straight out of high school, and be red-shirted and wait on their time. Why did they have that concept in place? Well, it gave the high school kid time to adapt to college, right? So as he or she is adapting to college, they getting their bookwork and stuff down good, they getting their routine down good, and they getting their body in shape for college football, college basketball, whatever the sport might be. Then when it's their time, they're mentally ready, they physically ready, okay? And they can deal with whatever comes along with that. If it's success, they have a mature mindset to how to deal with it. Well, if you getting success now and you haven't had an opportunity to grow, man, you just as quick as you get it, you're gonna be out the game. See, And so that's what you're saying now. Yeah, yeah. It's if I don't want to make sure I haven't missed out on what was your question. And did that fall right along somewhere
Yeah,
along
yeah,
what your
that's
question
yeah,
was?
yeah, that was fine. Yeah, so I want to ask mom here. You know, with women athletes, I know you coach volleyball and stuff like that. So your time coaching there, have you seen? Because I know I know you've been to some of the high school games for volleyball and basketball, especially when me and Justin was in high school. You know, just watching that, or even to this day, what do you think about the women athletes? Because some of them think they're celebrities as well, just like the male athletes. So, you know, what's your take on what you see the difference in female athletes?
Well, I mean, I agree with Mr. Jones in reference to um, the student athletes now. It's about the now. They want it now. They want it quick and fast. Um, they want the money, the NIL deal, and money is going to kind of take away from the truth of what you're there for. And then I'm thinking it can cause animosity possibly among your teammates. This one person has a standout and I don't even have an NIL deal, so I just think it causes confusion. That's just me, and I could be totally wrong. When I played tennis, and I know Mr. Jones mentioned about waiting your time coming in, but I know tennis is a different sport. With me coming in right out of high school, I walked in and took the number one spot. I played tennis, and tennis's setup is a little different. But if the talent is there, I truly believe that it's okay for you to start. But I truly believe in the football piece of it, or baseball. A lot of times you got to wait your time to kind of see, um, get a feel of and acclimated of what school is and how things go. But um, right now, this generation, they want it now. They want to be paid for their service. They want to be paid for um doing what they're doing, using their bodies to help the team get better, different things. And I
Mm.
understand that, they get a stipend, which is deserving, and they should get a stipend. Back then, when I got a stipend, it wasn't a whole lot, but I was thankful for it, that I did get that stipend. So it's just a little different. So like I said, students now, they're getting paid, for what they do, which they should get some incentive about, in what they're doing. But a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times I think it takes away for the true value of the sport sometimes.
Because
You know
just going into that, the like salary wise back then in pro sports, it wasn't like how it is now. If I'm correct, right? It wasn't 800 mil,
what? Right?
600 mil. You know, for
No,
however many years.
no,
It's
it's ridiculous, man. It's a mind game.
Mhm.
Is what they're playing. The people that sit here and make these decisions to give a one athlete that much money as if they the entire team, but
Yeah.
it's a mindset,
Mhm.
it reminds you of the movie Trading Places with Eddie Murphy and man, I can't remember the guy's name. Where these rich people sit here and play with people's lives because they get bored. They have so much money, and all they wants are fulfilled. So now they're trying to find other something else to entertain them, and they don't care anything about people's lives and stuff, and it's funny to them, the roles that they can put people down. Well, you sit here and you take this one athlete, you get him $254 million, right?
Mhm.
And let's just say he's the quarterback. Well, the quarterback ain't worth nothing without his receiver, without his first of all, he ain't nothing without a line.
Yeah.
He most definitely ain't nothing without good receivers and even a good running back. So back in the day, they didn't do that because they thought about all of that. And they want animosity money team. You might get paid back then 10 million, but you guaranteed your line is probably not too far behind you. And those athletes was okay with that because they knew it was a team effort to win. And back then, it wasn't so much big about the money as it was being a champion
Yeah.
back in that time. See what I'm saying? The
Yeah.
championship mean more. It was priceless. You couldn't put a price on it. The games, the struggle, man, the blood, sweat, and tears that these athletes put in just to make it to the championship, yet alone win it, priceless, dude. Now everything has a price on it, man. You know, I mean, you want to give one player $300 million for 3-4 years. Give a lineman who around here getting beat up every night. You gonna get him $6 million a year. You know, so it brings animosity with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You wonder why so many teams don't make it, man. You know what I'm saying? Not saying they don't have the talent. It's they don't have the respect.
Yeah.
It's the reason why they don't make
Right.
it.
It's a selfish. It's like, well, I'm gonna get my money, so they miss out on training camp and stuff.
Yes.
And
Hey, check this one out. You got an athlete that comes in 5'9", get drafted, 185 pounds, man, quarterback, bro. Okay. Signs a deal for $34 million guaranteed, $35 million guaranteed. His whole entire contract guaranteed. Then you turn around and give him $20 million signing bonus for signing the $35 million guaranteed. Right? First year.
mm,
Ain't proved nothing about himself. But then you got a lineman that has to hold out just to get an additional $5 million, man, or something more for his value to this team. And he been in the league longer. You see what I'm saying?
yeah.
You see how it's all messed up? You would think that they would take care of the ones that already proven themselves first, give them the most, because they have established who they are. Give the incoming something, but no more than what the older guys had. The older guys are getting.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because that established respect. Well, his hard work, his blood, sweat, and tears for this team,
Mm-hmm.
and it keeps the incoming guy modest, and it gives him something to look up to. You know what I'm saying? That he's like, if I work hard enough, then I can earn $10 million a year, like my lineman did.
Mm-hmm.
See, they don't set stones like that no more. I mean, stepping stones like that anymore. Everything now, man, is just here you go, and we don't care anything about him. You know, we only care about you, which is not right. And that athlete comes in with that attitude, and then you find the team still sorry, and they even more sorry this year than they were the previous year because of those type of decisions, man.
Mm-hmm.
People don't care anymore, man. You know what I'm saying? It's a game to those with the money. It's entertainment to those with the money. And they being entertained off people's dreams, off people hard work for their family, man. These are family men. Most of these guys, 90% of these guys that play sports are family men. And they ain't out there just getting towed up, man. They out there trying to give their wives and kids a better life than what they have.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying? It ain't fair when a guy comes in and shit, man, and get $200 or $300 million. And they ain't proven nothing. They ain't did nothing. Then when the season started, he the laughing stock of the team. But yet you just signed this man $20 million signing bonus, $35 million guaranteed. Man, it's sad. So yes, all that's a part of it, man. All that's a part of it. And I'm gonna tell you, if this, in which it will continue to go down the road that we're going with sports, man, sports is gonna be obsolete, man. It's gonna become so irrelevant that it's gonna be sad, believe it or not. It's just certain ages of individuals who's gonna start fading out pretty soon. You will see it. You'll see it.
You definitely. I know like other countries kind of laugh at our sports and laugh at like I know Europe. I seen an article like some players like from Europe from the NBA that come down here and they talk about how the competition in the NBA is easier actually than it is playing in like Europe or overseas or something like that. They're saying and then they were saying like the rules are better overseas because uh it's not as soft as it is over there versus in America. So just so that's a good point that you made there. So I want to talk about the competition. So how was like the level of competition has in sports have changed since the 90's? Like, do you think it's become more like less competitive or even more competitive?
Less competitive, man. Let me tell you, my time, it was fierce, man. You know what I'm saying? It was fierce. It wasn't nothing for you to sit here, man, and put this thing right here, that pretty thing in a dude's chest, man, and see him fly back like somebody shot him out of cannon. You hear what I'm saying? And when you hit him, the crowd went crazy. Everybody went crazy because we was out here playing you a man when you out here. Today, son, you know what? You don't even go to the gym to work out no more. This is why you have so many injuries. I tell anybody, go and pull up 1980 offensive linemen. Matter of fact, put up the Georgia Bulldogs back in 1984, 85 when Herschel Walker was there. Look at those linemen's neck. Necks was way out here. We didn't hear about concussions. That's a concussion back in the 1980s, man. You know what I'm saying? You know why? Because we was in shape. We stayed in the gym. They don't even have neck machines anymore in the gym. You go to any major college, we talking about like Miami, University of Miami. You remember we went in there? Man, the whole, I hate to call them out by name, but let me just say this. We have gone to plenty of colleges, major colleges, with no neck machine in there. That's crazy, man. But all these, lowering the shoulders, getting hit, head shaking when you hitting the ground, moving, all that stuff with a strong neck, it kept the brain stability. It gave you stabilization. So when you made those contacts, even when you fell, your neck was stiffened and it wouldn't hurt. Now you sit here and see him flopping back, head just slamming to the ground. That's because they don't train their neck. Training your neck was just important as training your arms, your bicep, and your thighs, your body. We train body. These guys now, man, they don't even wear knee pads. What happened to hip pads? They be out there playing without mouthpiece in their mouth. You know what I'm saying? If you go back and look at the 80s, the reason why it was a penalty to not have your mouthpiece in, because you seen players' front teeth gone. That's how we hit. That was football. This right here now, this ain't entertainment, man. Just a false setup. Bunch of lies. It was nothing. We didn't have no running back 5'6", 162 pounds. And he getting more respect than a 6 foot, 200-pound running back. That was crazy back in my time. That was unheard of. They don't even talk about linebackers anymore. Why? Because hitting now in today's sports, nobody hits anymore. Everybody roll at your legs. That's all they do. You see what I'm saying? So now, because of that, they don't even see you. When last time you heard of a 5-star linebacker, a 4-star linebacker? You don't even hear about linebacker anymore because people are not hitting anymore. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about, it's the dedication's not there. Now, let me answer this question about the overseas guys. Good question. Let me tell you something. You know why the overseas guys in the NBA say what they're saying right now? I'm going to tell you why. Because they're still living the way we lived in the 80s. They dedicated to the sports. You see what I'm saying? See, their dreams is to make them type money that the guys over here are making. But yet they coming over here with the hard set of trying to be a champion. See, these guys over here ain't trying to be no champion. They just trying to get in, get the money, and get on a rap video. Be able to say, you know what I'm saying, put all this damn jewelry on, and all this old nothing that has nothing to do with being an athlete. You see what I'm saying? That's all they care about. But the guys overseas are still dedicated to the sports. This is why they're saying the things that they're saying, and it is sad because in the 80s, you don't have all them damn Europeans coming over here. You know, and I'm not taking that from them, man. They killing the guys over here, and they only killing them not because they're better athletes. They killing them because they're dedicated. That's why. You see what I'm saying? I mean, they over here trying to be all pretty and shit, shooting air ball, but them damn Europeans coming in there, man, they shooting like hell because they in the gym shooting 300 to 1,000 shots a day to make their jump of perfection. They're dedicated. And that's the main thing that's separating those individual athletes from us over here. Dedication, baby.
So what about you, Mother? How do you feel the level of competition has changed, even just on like the female level of sports and everything?
Well, yeah, to be honest with you, I mean, I can say the level of sports has changed. I don't want to say for the worse, but it's not the same. When I was competitive in tennis on a college level, I took it to heart. I was out there practicing. I didn't have an NIL deal or anything like that, but I love the sport. First, I love the sport, and then I love to be competitive. And of course, we all love to win. So, I do see a difference right about now in today's sports. I mean, it's always good to look good. The saying is when you look good, you play good. But I think some of it has gone on another level. When it comes to sports, I'm glad um, that we want to look a certain way when we play sports. But the level of competition, it probably has changed, and we probably have dumbed it down some of the things that wasn't happening. And I'm just saying with football, like your dad said, a lot of the stuff that, they can't do. So it's interesting to see when you see football players, they don't have on those pads. And I know when you played sports, Jordan, you had on a neck roll and you looked
Yes.
the part. You looked like a mean machine out there, linebacker. So, it's just changed. But,
You was a champion, son.
and yeah, and with change, I guess, coaches have to adapt and they have to, adapt to what's going on in today's society. So, I know you had mentioned that I did coach. I did coach volleyball
Mhm.
for middle school at one time, and I always believed in, everybody on the team. I need everybody. I don't care if you don't. I need everybody on the team. You got something to offer. And I know a lot of times our players, whether it's football or baseball, they're just waiting for that moment to get out there. And,
Mhm.
and I feel like, a lot of times when players are overlooked, sometimes coaches you know, they overlook them. They, just never know what they're going to produce because when you're waiting your term, you're going to give it your all when you get that opportunity to get out there. And you just never know. It could be a game changer. And you're sitting there as a coach saying, wow, why did I wait this long to put this player out here? So,
Mhm.
everything is different. But at any rate, the competition, I must try to stick to the script. It has changed, but we just adapt to what's happening. I guess that's what's happened.
Yeah, I mean, even in women's, I'm not a woman's. Of course, I have coached girl basketball, and it is a difference, man. But yeah, girls show more dedication than guys with the sports.
Mhm.
And matter of fact, I mean, they're more competitive. You know what I'm saying? I respect it, man. Now I can't say in my time, looking at the '80s, today's society of girl basketball. Let me just use that sport. Um, the only difference I see, I can say that these young ladies do remind me of the '80s women. But the good thing for them is that they are getting the respect now. Back in the '80s, the
Yeah.
girls basketball, they didn't get the respect that they deserved. But they are getting it now, which is a good thing. It's not that
Right.
much different, man, to be honest with you. I think that the girls are a little bit more technology-wise efficient in the game. That, with all the new how to shoot the jumper, back in my time, girls just playing good ball, but just overall talent. It wasn't a lot. It was just old basic skills that we dealt with that the girls developed into being great athletes. But today they got a lot of technology to help these young girls out, man. And that's why you see so many different races of women, just as good as African American women now. In my time, there's more African American girls were in to play with, man. They just bum rushed everybody. But with the goodness of technology now, all women of all races now can become great athletes, man. But yeah, I don't see a big difference in it, man. Besides that, the girls are getting more respected now.
Yep. And they're getting paid.
Yeah, they definitely are.
Yeah, yeah. But you see, the pay don't even hurt them. They play just as hard, man. But with the guys, man, the pay just tear them up. And I understand why, because we get in pimp mode. You know what I'm saying? I got $1 million, I'm gonna get the car. I got all the girls trying to get me because of money, not because of who you. But you don't see that though. But it really truly it's hurting male professional, even college basketball. It's hurting us. I mean, not just basketball, but male sports. It's hurting us, but the girls are scrabbling through it, man. If they keep getting paid, I think now they just had their first $1 million coach. Is only one, so that's all you need to get started. You get
Yeah,
one, you eventually gonna get two. You get two, you're gonna get 10.
yeah.
So it'll be the same way these girls will start getting paid for their skills and stuff.
Well, Jordan, let me ask you a question.
Mhm.
You play athletics. I know you're the one that's supposed to be asking the questions, but I've always thought that you know defense to a T. And what's your take? I mean, would you ever want to coach football, or is that something you can do or would want to do? Because I truly believe you could definitely coach football. I know you got to start at the bottom, as a scout coach or something to that effect, but you really have that talent to encourage and defense. So listening.
Yeah. To answer that, I don't know. I've been told, especially by some of my teammates before, even some of the guys I play on my current team with Esports, uh, the way I describe defenses and stuff like that. Even in the game, I can read what the enemy team is trying to do. I can pretty much pick apart their defense and set up what they're trying to do. So I've been told I need a coach. That's something that I've been told that is like a talent of mine, but I don't know if I want to, generally because of the politics it is with coaching. Is like you guys say, is even I've seen it. Working with certain coaches is kind of you can't you can't bench certain players because of someone got this X amount of money, or someone knows someone, and so this person has to play. It's just stuff like that that I couldn't be able to do. And growing up with two parents that have morals and values, and respect for the game, I couldn't do it. I couldn't play someone that doesn't deserve not to be playing. Like that just couldn't sit right with me. That doesn't sit right. I'm gonna play the best player, so if I'm not able to do that, I wouldn't win.
And you said the correct statement, playing the best of the best. I mean, and
I mean, it's happened to me. I've playing at collegiate sports. I've had it happen to me where you know people had money behind this player, or this is his favorite, and he wanted to play that person over me. So I've had it happen to me. So it happens. But uh, I mean, I had to get through it, and pretty much I'm still finding my way now. So um, I mean, don't I wouldn't look at it as like when I was going through, I was looking at it as a bad thing, like why me? But when you start to understand, why not
but
me?
you're
You
not the
know,
only
well,
right.
yeah,
You're not
yeah, I'm definitely not the only one.
Yeah, you're not the only one, but the good thing is a lot of times these players, they don't have the mom and dad to talk to help them see it through and help
Hmm.
them to guide it through. So a lot of times they have to figure out on their own and they don't have alternative, a person to talk to. So, at the end of the day, some players do get kind of, they get, I don't know, is it called railroad? They get, they just get put on the back of the burner here.
Yeah, it's yeah, pretty much. I mean, you see it because you definitely see it at a lot of schools. I would say Bama is one school that I know for sure that would tell you in your face, you're not good enough to play. Hey, you should go. That's one school I know for sure that is like 100% honest with you. So, and
Okay.
Colorado as well. I
Okay,
mean, we
great.
see Coach Sanders. Because Sanders is the same way. He says he's 7 to 8 dogs away of having a great team. So I mean, he's calling out his current team now. So he's keeping it 100 with his entire team. And you know, that's coaches like that is hard to come by. You know, and with him being so honest to the media and to everyone else, a lot of coaches don't like it, and so the coaches trying to beat Coach Sanders instead of trying to beat the team. They're trying to beat Coach Sanders. You know, it's just like with Coach Saban. They're too busy worrying about beating Coach Saban instead of actually just beating Alabama. You know, so I mean, I just think if you're a coach that has morals, values, and you're 100% truthful with your players and with the media and your coaching staff, you know, a lot of the coaches that are doing wrong are not going to like that, and you can see it. You know, you can see it in the winning record in their record of how many players that are leaving. You know, are they saying they're leaving? You know, just stuff like that. You can you can just see it. You know, and how the program is run. You know, are they out of there in 2 years? You know, it's just stuff like that. You know, you just pick up on and see it's certain patterns. Once you've seen it so many times, it's like patterns, and you pretty much can like figure out. Okay, I know why this coach left or got fired because of X, Y, and Z. So yeah, so I going back to the coaching thing, it's stuff like that I couldn't do. It wouldn't sit right with me, and it's not a stable job like you said back in the 90's. How it was, you had coaches that were there for generations and generations. You have 1 to 2 bad losing seasons, you're fired. You're out of there.
Well, let me say this, Joey. Yeah, you're right. Well, the thing was, the schools back then will allow the coaches to build a program. Okay, and when you're building a program, you're gonna have those years that you're down, and you're gonna have those years that you're up. So
Mm-hmm.
and now, but these coaches not given that opportunity now. And so I kind of understand why they be desperate to get things going, get things rolling, because they're
Mm-hmm.
trying to keep their jobs. But the sad thing is that you can't lose yourself along the way. And what I mean by losing yourself, man, you lose your trueness to yourself, who you are and what you believe in, man. You have to stay true to the game. And I commend coaches like Coach Prime to be able to be honest and stick with it. It's a lot of repercussion, man, when you speaking the truth. People don't want to hear the
Yep.
truth in today's society, man, and you're gonna get beat up.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a part of it. That when you stand true to you, a couple of punches won't hurt you. Okay, you just deal with them and take the punches as they come. But yet you stand true to yourself, because at the end of the day, you're gonna win by being true to who you are and being true to these kids, man. You're gonna
Mm-hmm.
win at the end.
So I wanna shift some things around. So I know we discussed the 90's, how the times are, and how, and just comparing it to today's athletes and today's sports. So I want to shift into you guys' memory a little bit, and I want to ask you guys. I'm gonna start with you. Are there any memorable moments or events back in your time in playing sports where you think would be like possible, or would be different today, like such as like if, I should say probably like um I guess like how like for example probably like I guess like a memorable moment of um if you were to go back and look at it, would it pan out the same way like today?
Well, I can say for the sport that I played tennis, tennis has really elevated, especially in African American women.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and men as well. So those numbers are increasing. We're not just doing basketball and football. We're doing something totally different. So,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times when I tell people that I played tennis, they kind of look at me like, oh, really? You played
Mm-hmm.
tennis? So, a lot of times we're just used to the traditional sports, your basketball, your football, as I say, your revenue sports versus your non-revenue sports, which would be
Mm-hmm.
tennis. because tennis does not bring money in. But I'm just glad that we're, doing things a little, differently, that our young ladies are getting involved. When I was a physical education teacher,
Mhm.
I would have uh, a a um, a tennis club come in and just teach tennis to our students, and they actually gave them scholarships to come to participate in tennis lessons in the summer. So those students really enjoyed that. So I can say that, just seeing that elevated up into now, where you see your Coco, can't think of her last name, but she's out there, she's playing tennis, she's doing well,
Mhm.
and Serena Williams, all of those greats. So, um, for me coming in as a freshman and just coming in being the number one player as a freshman, I mean,
Mhm.
I was very dedicated to my sport because I love to win. I wanted our team to win. I wanted us to be on the map. So, um, at any rate, when you're good at your craft, you stick with it, you perfect it, you practice, you practice, you practice. As you can remember when you guys were growing up, a lot of times your dad would sit here and say, "Hey, if I have to tell you to go out here and do something and to perfect your craft, you really don't want to do it." So a lot of times you
Mhm.
guys got out there and did what you had to do without us saying anything. I know you all got tired of that. You went to every camp, we were all
We had every
over the place,
trainer, every trainer for
we were
every
all over
sport.
the place, all over the place. So
Yeah.
we kept you all busy, kept you busy. So I think I've answered the question, but I'm kind of getting on. So I'm gonna let you go ahead with your next question.
But,
Okay, so yeah, that
let
was
me say
good.
this. That was good. Yeah,
Mhm.
that was a good response. So let me just say this. Yeah, it's kids don't dream anymore, man, the way they used to back in the time too, man. You know what I'm saying? It's more of a privileged thing for them versus even in your time. And I told you just in 6 years, man, this game of football has changed so fast. It never changed as fast as it has done within the last 6 years. Excuse me, but I'm something like Coach Prime, and I'm pretty sure he remind you of me when you and your brothers growing up, how I used to be on y'all about being dedicated to the sports and being dedicated to yourself. If this your dream, you got to put forth the effort, man.
Mhm.
It was nothing for me to sit here and pull up some of the Hall of Famers and allow you to see and look and listen to every last one of them. And you remember when I had you to look at those athletes like Smith, Micah Irvin,
Michael Singletary.
Emmett Smith, Mike Singletary. I had you guys look at Michael Jordan. All these great athletes, man. And I said they all said one thing. They all said they worked hard to achieve what they had achieved in life, right? As an
Mhm.
athlete. And so that's what I tried to instill in you guys, man. If this is what you want, you can be it. The only person that can hold you back is you. And the thing is, when you're when you're teaching positive, man, especially among the kids, you bring on people who don't like you and they don't even know you because
Mhm.
of your positiveness. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But I refuse to allow them to change me. You remember, I didn't do what a lot of other parents did. Ran over there, kissing Coach Bud, tried to help I stay extra and
Mhm.
help. I clean up more than the other parents clean up because I wanted my kids to play. See what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Remember all that we used to sit here and see? I wasn't one of them parents. I wasn't going to do that. What I was going to do is make sure that my son was at practice every day. He's supposed to be there and practice the way he's supposed to practice and respect the coach the way he's supposed to respect the coach. Right?
Mhm.
And I helped all the other kids that was there that would be willing to listen to me too, those even that didn't even have fathers. Right? So one thing about taking the punches, I took a lot of punches, man. A lot of people worked against me. A lot of people came at you and your brother because of my positiveness, being the type of man that I am, the type of father that I am.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I'm saying all that to say, and this is what Coach Prime is going through. He's a father of two. two young men, two great athletes like I was. I mean, like I am, you know. And the only difference is that he made it back in his younger time to become the type of Hall of Famer that he is. I had the potential to become one, but it wasn't meant for me. And I'm not mad about it. I'm proud of doing what I'm doing in life, but I'm also proud to say I experienced the greatness.
Mm-hmm.
I experienced winning. I experienced losing. I experienced making it to the championship. I experienced hitting the crowd roar. I experienced hitting everybody calling your name, people screaming at you as you lined up to enter onto the bus. I experienced arriving at the game with people out there screaming your name out, yelling when you getting off the bus, man. You know, wishing you a great game. So I have no regrets on that. You know what I'm saying? I have no regrets, man. I even experienced with you and your brother, right? And I still do experience it every Saturday. So it's a great thing, man. But it's a lot of hard work that comes along with it. A lot of unnecessary hating and people, man. It's just it's some mean people out here, man. You remember I dealt with some of the grown people that came at kids, and I dealt with them the right way, and it's sad. It's sad, but I just want to say that's just a part of it, man. It's part of it. Go ahead with your questions. I'm sorry.
So Mo, I'm gonna start with you here. So, want to ask you this, and I want you to be included in this as well.
Okay.
Um,
All right.
so with today's athletes, a lot of them compare. Let's say a lot of these they compare a lot of these athletes to these Hall of Famers like Michael Jordan or Coach Prime or to Ray Lewis or Micah Singletary or Hall of Famer Barry Sanders. These Hall of Famers that that they Venus Serena. They compared the tennis girl that beat Serena and compared, saying that is she better than Serena, stuff like that. And so I was going to ask you, want to know what is your thoughts on what makes a Hall of Famer and your opinion on the athletes that they compare these Hall of Famers to. Are they actually better than these Hall of Famers? Talent wise, skill wise, anything.
I mean, what makes a Hall of Fame X? And then I answered that. I guess what makes a Hall of Fame? What actually what has
Your
that?
opinion on that. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm just saying, what has that athlete done? Everything starts with character for me. So character, determination. Um, what they've done with the sport, with the community. I think all of that plays a part too. Being a Hall of Famer, what are you doing? It's not what you've done; it's what you did and what you done to move forward after the sport as well. I think all of that is a combination of it all. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The comparison with the other athletes, sometimes it's hard to walk in a person's shoes, but I mean, you can compare some of the athletes with some of your old time athletes, but I mean, it's just my opinion, I that's a hard one to answer on that end,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What do you have to say about that, Mr. Jones?
Well, what makes Hall of Fame, though, is first of all, is character, as you said, and it's dedication to the sports that they're attending. People recognize that, and you're rewarded with that title because of that. If you notice, man, when you look at all these Hall of Famers, man, their character is just outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
They show weak times, they show weak moments at times, but most of the time, man, they was the same every game. Even when they lost, when they won, they was dedicated to the sport. And those individuals who showed and upheld character within their sports, man, and dedication to their sports, uh, they became Hall of Famers. Nobody wakes up and say, "I'm gonna be a Hall of Famer." People wake up, they dream about being it, and hopefully that they'll reach that that milestone of life at that in that particular sports, man. Man, being considered as a Hall of Famer is a wonderful thing. You know, it's a great thing. But there's a lot of Hall of Famers that didn't get recognized. You know, you got great players that have made it. And tell you that they some of the players they played against, they couldn't touch. They can't even touch the shoes they wore. Yeah, Michael Jordan will tell you in a minute. You know, one of the questions that he was asked is, do he consider himself the greatest of all time? He said that's not the question for him to answer because he haven't played against he ain't played against some of the guys who paved the way for him. So how would he know he was better than this guy when he never played against that guy? Great concept, man.
Mm-hmm.
So, what was the second question again?
Just talking about the comparison, how you got, sports commentators, normal people, or yeah,
no,
they compare stats and everything like that, and
see, this is the thing that really drives me crazy when this comes to dealing with that because everything's about money now. Yeah, I mean, especially in sports, man, it's about money, and it's always been about money
mm-hmm.
in certain people's eyes. So they has to keep these concepts going in order to keep the money going. All right, so they're gonna compare yesteryears because yesteryears was so great, man, was so good, and everybody was so hyped. So they have to find someone to come in and keep it going because I mean, every time you look around, they want to compare like Coco and Serena Williams are totally different athletes, so you can't compare them. Now, why I say that? Because Coco has not gone through the type of embarrassment that Serena and her sister has gone through. Remember, they was talked about, they was yelled at, they was called all type of racial slurs, they was called ugly, they had them bees in their head. Man, they went through some of everything to get where they at. This girl ain't going through none of that. She ain't paid the way. And most Hall of Famers have paid the way in some form or fashion for the game, for the sports. You see what I'm saying? So you can't compare today's so-called goods with yesterday greats. You can't do that because what the greats did to get there is not the same as today athletes or what they have done. Now, my thing is it fair to them to sit here and say that? A lot of people argue with me about that. I say, yeah, it's fair to say it. You see what I'm saying? Because you shouldn't want to be compared to the Michael Jordan. You should want to stay away from that because you haven't gone through what they have gone through. You know you got it much easier because times are different. Because in their time, it was a bunch of good athletes. Your time is limited because now you got more people on drugs. You got more alcohol out here being served. You got more broken homes out here than you had back in the times. You had all that going on, so a lot of great athletes don't get the opportunity the way you got. So you can't compare yesteryears to this. No, there's no comparison. Yesteryears was greats, and they greats because they were dedicated and they had strong character in ways that today's good athletes, they're not great, they're good, are not compared. I mean, take NBA. Would you sit here and say they play defense now? Man, in the 80s, it wasn't there for a 4-quarter game to go 53-52. 4 quarters now. So, that was a straight defensive game. Man, they ain't nothing to damn near see 179 to 180. Really? Come on, man. I mean, ain't nobody play defense. Everybody's trying to sit here and shoot threes, okay? Years. You didn't have 6'9", 7'5" shooting threes.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, their rebounding is everyone had like a role. Yeah,
that's right. And they didn't mind doing that. They let the smaller fellas deal with them on the outside, and they played around the rim. Now you sitting up here, man, dude 7'10" shooting three. Man, and then you got a dude 5'6'1" on the rim grabbing rebounds. See, why everything's so reversed now? Why? Because it has no stability. Okay, they have gotten away from all of that, man. Now he comes in. Now you get drafted as a god. Hell, when the season starts, you down here being a power forward.
I mean, you can say the same thing in college because a lot of college coaches get players for, like, let's say running back, for instance, like Justin. Everyone, they'll say, oh yeah, we'll get him as a running back. They get there, he gets there, they try to move him to DB, and he's just like, bro, I play running. I've never touched defensive back in my life. So yeah, you can see that in yeah, most
It's
definitely.
part of it, you know what I'm saying? Because you got coaches now want to put you where they believe where you need to be instead of just where you want to be. Because here's the key. Now, will a player give you his all playing in the position you want him to play, or would he give you his all being in the position that he wants to play, that he's happy? That's the question. And coaches put you where they knew they was gonna get their best from you. And they put you just because you looked a certain way. And they put you there. In my time, they put you there because they knew you was happy, that's where you wanted to be, and you're gonna play your butt off.
Yeah.
Totally different from the day. Totally different from the day, son. Totally different, man. You know. Um, Go ahead. What was the next question?
So I got two more questions and everything, and just to take you guys time. So I want to go into like you guys' experience of playing ball, playing sports. I'm gonna start with you, Dad. Has there been like a particular moment that you experienced in your career that illustrate how sports have changed like dramatically since the '90s?
Um, okay, ask me that one more time. I'm trying to
Uh,
understand.
okay, yeah, yeah. Are there any particular moments or experiences in your career that illustrated how sports have changed dramatically from the '90s to today?
Yeah, I mean, you got privilege now. You know, your kids come out here privileged and cocky attitudes, man. They don't even respect parents anymore. You have kids that'll sit up here, don't even know how to say yes, ma'am, and no, sir to parents. They talk to parents like like they homeboys and homegirls and stuff, man. Um, uh, but most definitely, times. I mean, it's nowhere near the same, man, as it was back in the '90s and the '80s. It's all about respect and dedication, man. Yeah, there are moments I have seen it. I didn't like it. If I was able to do something about it, I would have. It was just that bad and just that terrible. You want to tell this kid, say, son, your coach lying to you. You ain't good, son. I say it in a minute. You know what I'm saying? And people
Hmm.
look at you crazy for telling the kid that you don't want to hurt his feelings. Hey, man, you hurting his feelings by not telling him he or she the truth. You know what I'm saying? If you care about him, tell him the truth. Let he or she know they're
Hmm.
not good. They're not good. They need to find out what they are good at, and then you help them in that aspect. You shouldn't have kids out here believing they're good in something they're not. But yeah, that is one of the main things I have seen that really make me understand and realize that sports has truly changed from my time to now.
What about you, mother?
I'm just gonna ditto what your dad said. Yeah, I'm not gonna repeat. So we're on the same page when it comes to that.
Okay, yeah, most definitely. Just to add on to that, watching like YouTube videos like Michael Singletary, just how everything was like, even like I should say like from the calling, from the coaches to the players, like everyone's on the same page. Nowadays you got just the quarterback and the offensive coordinator on the same page, but the rest of the team is not on the same page, or the linebackers on the same page with the defensive coordinator, but the D line or the DBs are not even understanding what page that those tools on. So I kind of noticed that you got a lot of favoritism in sports now, where I like this guy, so I'm gonna give this guy a chance, and me and him gonna be pretty much cool instead of like how it was back in playing little league. All the coaches treat you like the same pretty much. You didn't really see too much favoritism back then.
Yeah,
S-
yeah. Well, it's favoritism plays a part in it. But back then, man, because they cared about you guys growing up being great men, and they didn't want to show no individualization among the kids. You want to keep
Mhm.
everybody good because you got some weak people, man. Everybody not strong to deal with disappointment, and so that was one of the main keys to keep back in little league to make sure that the kids believe in themselves, man, and have confidence in themselves that they can be a good athlete, just can be whatever they choose to be. If it's not being an athlete,
Hmm.
it could be a great math teacher and stuff like that, man. But sports plays a part in that. It helps the kids believe in themselves, man, that they can do any and everything. So that's why it was important back then for literally for the coaches, man, dealing with future leaders, future adults to believe in themselves. It was very important to teach that.
Hmm.
However, of course, things trigger and change as older the child gets. Uh, some of them realize and grow up on their own and realize that being an athlete is just not for them, although
Hmm.
they do appreciate the sports. And they'll still take that training and utilize in whatever they chose to be in life. And
Hmm.
they'll always reflect back to when my coach told me when I was little league that I was able to be somebody if I put my mind to it, if I sit here and be dedicated to it, if I put my hard work into it, I
Hmm.
can achieve. So they'll take that, man, and utilize that. Um, but it takes a great person to realize that they're not good at something and do find what they are good at and improve in it and strive in it. Um, you one thing you have to realize that today's coaches, man, they got favoritism because whoever's doing the most to keep them employed,
Hmm.
hell yeah, that player's gonna be their favorite, man. You know what I'm saying? But one thing about it, that favorite player becomes obsolete. You know what I'm saying? They might have that one good player for like 2 to 3 years, and then it'd be 10 years they're on the drought, man. They can't even find a player that's halfway decent, and they still get terminated. You see what I'm saying? So it's always best, man, to build a team, not a player. See,
Hmm.
that way, when you're building a team, it doesn't matter who comes in and join the team still, uh, just wins. You see, it still moves forward.
So,
And when you're
I,
building, what? Go ahead.
no, not to cut you off there, Dad.
Yeah,
But
you good.
I'm actually curious because you made a great point. Is is that why you think you know Coach Saban, how he runs his program is an actual program, it's a system that he has in place
It is.
that he has built,
It is.
and do you think that's why even though he probably don't get the quality of athletes that he used to get, is that why you think that to a certain degree that's why they're still able to beat teams that are probably way talented and better than them because of just the system and program that he has in place?
Yeah, I mean, you can see it today. He don't have the type of talent that he normally gets, but because of his program that he put in place, and they're able to come in and be dedicated to it, he's able to still win, man. That's strictly he's winning not but just on talent alone. He's strictly winning, man, because of his program.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but if you can sit here and see and tell that he knows now, it's still a struggle, man.
Mm-hmm.
Because these kids coming in, they privileged, man, on being a part of being a part of the program, but they coming in cocky, like Saban owed them something.
Mm-hmm.
And Saban is old school, man. He
And
gonna
he
tell you
like,
straight up, hey man, yeah, shit, you
get
can
out
hit
of
the
it.
dope, bro. Shit, it is what it is. I take this long, go on about my business, but guess what? At the end of the day, I got dignity, who I am, and what I stand for. You see what I'm saying? I'm not gonna let a child come in and worry me to the point to where I feel I can't exist because this child don't want to play for me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Excuse my
Yeah.
language. And that's why he's so well respected. That's why he's so well respected. And I wish it was the concept that a lot of these coaches were taking place and really look at Saban, not just look at the wins, the amount of wins and the money that he's getting and all that. Look at what he has done for these kids, man. Now let me tell you about his program. His program is so successful. Some of the problems that he's having is that a lot of these kids, when they go to the next level, uh, that system works so well for them that they can't. It's hard for them to adapt to a new system. See, because
Mm-hmm.
when you're in the NFL, there ain't no system.
Yeah.
Because everybody's good. So
Yeah.
if you just got to learn to be either you good or you ain't. That's where it boils down to. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Saban has a way of putting a system together to adapt for your weakness. See, and that keeps your weakness from being exposed. But in the NFL, your weakness, man, is exposed to the T.
Yeah.
So it's up to you to be dedicated to build and strengthen your weakness for the competition, level of competition that you own now. And a lot of these players today don't do that. They be so privileged for being in that program
Mhm.
that they can't adapt, man. And they end find themselves, man, in a 2 to 3 year career that's over with.
Anything to add on there, Mom?
No, I'm good.
All right. So, last question to finish this off. Mom, I'm gonna start with you. Um, so what advice would you give to young athletes looking to succeed in your sport today, considering the changes and challenges that arise since the 90s?
Well, um, I would just say that if it's a sport that you really want to perfect and you want to get better at, you got to step outside of doing something extra. You got to, if it's tennis, you go to practice, you got to get a trainer, you got to work on um getting in shape. It takes the extra to
Hmm.
get better. You should never stay at the same level. You should want to push yourself to the next level at all times, an athlete. So, um, I just, I would end on that note, don't stay on the same level. You push yourself to the next level if you want to be great.
Hmm. That.
Yes, sir. If you don't mind, repeat the question again.
Um, yeah, sure. What advice would you give to young athletes looking to succeed in your sport today, considering the changes and challenges that have arisen since the 90s?
Yeah. Well, what would I give advice? What type of advice would I give to the kids today?
Hmm.
Right, dealing with challenges and stuff as an athlete. Well, first of all, I would tell the young men or the young ladies is ask yourself, what have you done to invest in yourself today? Okay,
Hmm.
that'd be my first question. What have you done to invest in yourself? And what I mean by investing in yourself, well, first of all, are you sleeping longer? Are you up and you stand up all night? Are you getting up early to invest in your skills, to improve your skills, to be dedicated to what you want to be in life? That's part of investing into yourself. Okay. And when it comes to this 2, 3, 4, 5 stars, don't worry about stars. My saying to that is this: you don't need someone to call you a star. Okay, you are a star because you are the athlete with the dream. And people who dreams, that's all they see is stars, right?
Hmm.
That's all they see is the opportunity to become what they truly want to be in life as an athlete. So as long as you're dreaming, man, most definitely you see yourself doing, you can do it. So despite of all the hard shakes that comes along with it, and it's one thing about something that's worth fighting for. Any adversity that is put in place before you, you can't go around it. Okay, you can't avoid it. Don't avoid it. Go through it and go through it with confidence and believing in yourself,
Hmm.
and you'll win at the end. Stay true to yourself. Love yourself. See yourself. Respect yourself, and respect others, man. And as long as you have that particular attitude and character about yourself, you can succeed and possibly be the next Michael Jordan. You can be the next Emmett Smith, the next Serena Williams, and the next what my girl name? I was trying to think about my basketball girl. Not Swoops, but I can't even say her name right now. I'm so sorry, but you could be that next great female athlete, man. Just stay true to yourself. Invest in yourself every day. Improve on
Hmm.
yourself every day. Every moment that you have, you take advantage of it. That's what and that's the type of advice I would give to a young athlete today.
All right, and just to add on to that, to add on to what you guys said, I understand that you will go through adversity in sports. Nothing will come easy. Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, didn't even make the high school basketball team the first time. So you know, you know, yeah, it's freshman year. So understand that you will go through adversity is part of it. Reaching a dream is never easy. It wouldn't be a dream if you didn't go through adversity. You wouldn't appreciate it if you didn't go through anything to get there. So appreciate the journey. It is a marathon, not a sprint. Understand that like I said, there will be obstacles. There will be trials and tribulations. But as long as you keep God first, as long as you continue to believe in yourself, invest in yourself, and doing what you do, you will reach your dreams. And like my dad always say, God has never let a man that worked hard never let him down. So if you continue to work hard and invest in yourself every single day, you will reach your dreams. And you don't know how you might get there. Some people take that straight path. Some people, it's like a roller coaster, but you'll
That's
end
right. Your
up at the
path
end
is yours.
there. And
That's right. Your path.
everyone, yeah, exactly. Your path is yours. Don't look at anyone else's journey and compare it. Look at yours. Continue to look at yours and just see how you can continue to get through that journey and improve every single day.
And that's what we say in Omega Sci-Fi Incorporated. Everybody process is different. Okay, everybody process is different.
Everyone's process is different. So thank you guys.
See
I
you through.
appreciate. Yeah, see you through. So
Wow.
I thank you. I appreciate it. So everyone at YouTube, I appreciate you guys for watching this through. Hopefully you got some great information from these two great athletes that played back in that time. As you can see, they still look good now. They still look like athletes to this day. So hopefully you guys took something from this, enjoyed it. If you did, give it a likes up and subscribe. I appreciate it. I'll see you again. Thank you guys. Bye.
Bye. Delta Sigma Theta. Bye.